Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market stream. Bitcoin investors, prepare for what's coming next. Got a lot to talk about today. More macro stuff that's very important to know. And of course, Bitcoin and crypto still looking strong. So what's coming next? What's so important that you must know about? Well, let's talk about everything. Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out today, those of us in the US, right around 93,000. We retraced a little bit, but that's to be expected. We had a tremendous climb yesterday and the day before and the day before. So a little pullback is to be expected. And a lot of alts are still holding quite well, actually. In fact, this really isn't even a pullback. If you zoom out, you realize, man, it's quite a good move so far this week. All things considered, I mean, we had a lot of news. We had like the Fed book come out. We had Fed speakers. We have a lot of macro stuff. And the week is not over yet. Today, I got a lot to share too. Dow's holding up in the red, S&P, NASDAQ in the green. We got some bad news. Our Treasury Secretary says China and U.S. have opportunity for a big deal. It does seem like the U.S. is backtracking a little bit, okay, against this war, this trade war against China. Because we were like, China needs us more than we need them. We were like, really pouting and saying like, they're going to cave first. And then recently the tone has changed where it's like, yeah, we're going to find a middle ground. We're not going to be so tough anymore. Seems like the tone has changed a little bit. Now the narrative is like, yeah, we're negotiating. We'll get there. But someone needs to tell China that, because when China was asked about this, they're like, hey, there has been no trade talks at all. So it seems like there hasn't been any discussions. So China's like, hey, if you guys want to end this, let's just cancel all the tariffs. That's how to do it. Let's cancel all the tariffs against each other and then go back to how it was before. Okay. So there's a little of that right now. So markets are trying to digest this. I think that's why markets have been doing well, obviously, in the US, because Wall Street is taking this that this is going to come to an end sooner than later. But who knows? Maybe this is just, again, game theory. This is, art of the deal, sort of. And this may be for a long time. Who knows? But yeah, it just seems like both sides are not really on the same page right now. But we did get a lot of earnings and companies come out and say, well, yeah, the tariffs are not going to be helping us. And this is what I've been saying. I mean, right now we still have supplies. Okay. We haven't run out of supplies. Once they run out, everything is going to get a lot more expensive. Very expensive. And all these companies, they're already fearing it's going to hurt them. Procter & Gamble, which they produce everything from soap to shampoo to, like, I don't know, medical stuff. I mean, household stuff. I mean, they produce everything. They say price hikes are likely. So that means they're going to pass on the increases to us. And there's a lot of uncertainty. Pepsi says there's uncertainty, and consumer spending may be going down in the future. Merrick says lower profit outlook due to the 200 million expected tariff hit. Basically, all these companies, American companies, are like, yeah, we're not expecting the tariffs to go help us at all right now. But you know, that's short term. Short term pain may equal long term gain. So it's still very early. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I find also this story interesting. It has nothing to do with crypto or markets, but it does have to do with TikTok and all that's been going on. You know how like we have this whole thing about we're afraid that TikTok is sending all this data to China. But South Korea did a deep dive on this AI chat assistant app called DeepSeek, which a lot of you guys have heard of. But it's interesting that they say the user data is not only being sent to China, but it's also being sent to the US. So now it makes me wonder if a lot of these, you know, there's a lot of like internal stuff that's already happening. So before DeepSeek was released in the US may have like contacted them and said, hey, we want some of that data too, right? So this was surprising. It was not surprising that user data was being sent to China, but it's surprising to hear that user data was being sent to the US side too. So it's being sent to both sides, which is really surprising. So I think this is what the negotiation about TikTok is all about. Is yeah, data could be sent to China, but we want that data on the US side too. That's just quite interesting. That's very interesting indeed. But we know, of course, Instagram, Facebook, Google, every free cloud service, every free social media app in the United States already does that. So if you think they don't, they do. You are the product, and advertisers is their partners, is their business. So just think about that. Okay, going back to Bitcoin and crypto. We had a very large inflow once again yesterday, even bigger than the day before. 917 million inflow, most of that from BlackRock. No surprise, 643 million into BlackRock. They do not like Saylor buying so much, so they are playing catch up once again. That is an enormous amount. 2 days, 3 days of inflow. We're talking about over 2. No, it's not 3 yet. 2 point something billion dollars worth of Bitcoin being bought. That's enormous amount. That wipes out like all of last week. See, this is what FOMO looks like. It comes back very, very quickly. Very quickly indeed. And that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop. As momentum comes back, we're going to see more of that. We'll see a lot more of that. And we always have a lot of good news. Swiss National Bank acquires MicroStrategy for Bitcoin exposure. I mean, last time Saylor came out with some figures, like how many, 150,000 like companies own MicroStrategy now because they want Bitcoin exposure. Now you got national banks that wants Bitcoin exposure through MicroStrategy. It's quite amazing what's happening right now. And let's not forget the new company that's being created between Tether and SoftBank and Cantor Fitzgerald. And they are being created for the sole purpose, or that company will be created for sole purpose of acquiring Bitcoin as well. I mean, there's a lot of great things happening. Metaplanet purchased another 145 Bitcoin. So now they hold 5,000. They're going nuts. They are going nuts. Not as nuts in MicroStrategy, but they are purchasing tens of millions seems like every few days now. So they are going absolutely bonkers for Bitcoin. Stateside here, we got another state that's getting very, very, very close to approving a Bitcoin reserve. This enables 10% of their public funds for Bitcoin allocations. So not only do we have a Bitcoin reserve for the entire nation, but we will have 30 plus states that will also soon have their own reserve. Just think about that. Something that has never, ever, ever happened in Bitcoin's history. First time. You guys are witnessing history. I mean, this has never happened before. In the future, you'll be able to tell whoever that you saw this happen firsthand. All right, what else is happening? What's coming? Well, the number of addresses depositing Bitcoin into the exchanges basically dropping off to near zero. We're at the same point at December 2016. That was like barely anything back then. Binance didn't even exist back then. Think about how early that was. Okay. Bottom line is there's very little amount of people out there right now that's left trying to sell their Bitcoin. The people that wanted to sell over the last few months, the panic sellers, okay, the deleveraged, the funds that wanted to deleverage, they did. So now there's just basically no one. There's like no one trying to send their Bitcoin to the exchanges, trying to sell. So that's a very good thing. We're getting to a point where this is what I mentioned, seller exhaustion, right? We saw it. We saw it happen when we hit the low 70s, high 70s, low 80s, right? We hung around there. The buying pressure from the long-term holders was pretty consistent, and we held. And now we have come back pretty strong, pretty quickly from those levels, just within, what, 4 days? It's been a wild 4 days, but it makes sense. And here's the thing. Long-term holders continue to load up, and not only the long-term holders, the whales. Okay. So if you read this correctly, the very top line is showing whales who hold over 10,000 Bitcoin. So if you're reading this correctly, the blue, actually the deep blue, is massive accumulation. The red actually is low accumulation. So if you read this correctly, who's accumulating the most right now? People with over 10,000 Bitcoin. They are loading up. The second group that is loading up the most is people that hold between 1 to 10,000 Bitcoin. So the ultra mega whales are the ones that are loading up, taking advantage of the dip. Because that's what they do. The smart money, the big money, they buy when there's blood in the streets, when there's panic. That's how they make money, right? And then the third group is between 100 to 1,000. And then the fourth is 10 to 100. So you can see the least accumulation groups is unfortunately the lowest ones. -1 Bitcoin and 1 to 10 Bitcoin. There's still some accumulation, but those are the smallest groups. But the large groups are the ones that have the most Bitcoin already. You can't let these guys have all the Bitcoin. You got to keep some for yourself. And the reason why they keep accumulating is because they know we will pass whatever we're going through and we will continue to move forward. And a lot of them realize that Bitcoin is a store of value. It's not like before. It is a hedge against inflation. And one day it'll equal and surpass gold's market cap. And when that happens, Bitcoin will be over $1 million each. $1 million each. And this is showing Bitcoin for this cycle. Every single cycle, when we had that top, you could see Bitcoin moves far past the green line. Okay, the pi cycle top indicator. You could see how we're nowhere close to passing that green line. Not even close. 2014 or 2013, we are well above it. 2017, we are well above it. Even 2021, we weren't well above it, but still, we were above it. Now in 2025, nowhere close. That shows you what's coming next is tremendous. The bull run is not over. The top of this cycle is still coming. End of this year, and it's going to be a lot higher than where we are right now. A lot of predictions out there. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, some other crypto news. If you want to meet Trump, this may be one way to do it. Trump announces that, hey, if you're one of the top 20 holders of Trump coin, no, top 220 of Trump coin, you get to have a VIP reception with him at his National Golf Club on May 22nd, a month from now. And because of this, the Trump token has exploded. So there's one opportunity there. But to be fair, everything was exploding yesterday already when this was announced. So, you know, the explosion has stopped, but yeah. So I guess that's a real world use for holding Trump token. But you got to be one of the top 220, which is pretty hard, I would think. Outside of that, XRP did face a security breach. There was some kind of compromise with one of the things that I don't quite understand. They have patched it, but for a brief period, like over 100,000 private keys were exposed, which is no good. So that happened. I was actually wondering why XRP didn't move as quickly or as much as the other alts in the last few days. And this is probably the reason why. But yeah, this was unfortunate. I haven't heard any stories of anyone losing massive amount of XRP due to this. And hopefully none of you guys did, but this happened. I don't quite understand what the vulnerability was, but it's something serious. And then I saw this, Sol Strategies, which is a company basically mimicking MicroStrategies. They secured $500 million funding to buy $500 million worth of Sol, which is awesome. They're doing the same thing as MicroStrategy with Bitcoin, but they're doing it on Solana. And speaking of Solana, they are doing something that will make them more decentralized. This new policy where if there's a new validator that's added, they will remove one of the old validators that, that the foundation has a stake in, basically. So they're trying to remove their old validators that doesn't have a lot of Sol staked in there, and trying to replace those with new validators that are not controlled by the foundation. So I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. That's pretty much it. Let's see. Trump tells Putin to stop Russian strikes on Kiev. Ooh, that's not good. MicroStrategy, a little in the red. Tesla, Amazon, GameStop, a little bit in the green. Today's kind of mixed. Not moving in any particular direction. Bitcoin is still holding a little bit lower than yesterday. Sui is still on an absolute tear. Just like you could see, it's not coming down at all. Sol taking a little breather. XRP didn't really move. It actually lost a lot of momentum from yesterday. All right, let's do some Q&A. Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was noting that Polygon is doing good. Some people were saying it was doing good. I was saying I gave up on Polygon because I wasn't hearing good things about it from developers and projects and this whole thing. When they were transitioning, exchanges didn't want to support the new token, and there's just a lot of things going on, a lot of mess. So I don't know what's going on right now. But if they do come back, good for them. But I've spoken to a lot of projects and insiders from Polygon that kind of like made me not like what I was hearing. What is your Trump coin prediction for the end of the year? I don't know. I can't give predictions on meme coins, especially one based on our president, who shouldn't even have a meme coin. Let's all be honest, okay? He should not be having his own meme coin. So I can't really give a prediction out. But at least he's bringing some utility by saying there'll be, like a meetup with him if you're a top 20 holder. So I like that. At least he's doing something like that. But let's be honest, he he shouldn't be having a meme coin. Does the possibility of Unix being hacked or locking funds concern you at all? It should. Let's just answer. I'll answer this way. All exchanges have a possibility of being hacked or locked. Yes. But do I think about if that's going to happen to Unix on a daily basis or often? No. I do almost all my trading on there, and I have a significant amount of crypto on there, so no. But there's always a chance, and it's best to keep most of your crypto, the ones that you're not trading, on a self-custody wallet. Does Sui get removed from Coinbase? I sold mine yesterday. Now I can't see option buy it. I doubt it. I doubt they removed it. Do you still have a Patreon where you announce trades? I do have a Patreon, but there's a new program called Crypto Pulse. I have Blake in there, pure trader, really good. He knows what he's doing, and Josh in there. So that's a new program I am endorsing, and we're still trying to build that up. And it's a new program, but I think it's more geared towards, it's half really for hardcore traders and half for analysts. Not analysts, but for like fundamentals, and it's more analytical. So yeah, it's in the description. Do I still use Tapin? Not right now. I mean, I still have little funds in there, but mostly I've moved to Unix. Ooh, now everything turned green. Oh, this just came out. Coinbase ends PayPal stablecoin fee as payment rates heats up. Coinbase is removing fees for purchases of PayPal's dollar-backed stablecoin. I don't know one person ever that I ever talked to or know of that have used PayPal stablecoin. There's like just no need. Every single exchange or platform now supports USDT or USDC. I don't see anywhere that exclusively takes PYUSD or any reason why I think of that you would want to use PYUSD over, let's say, USDC or USDT. I don't even understand it. I don't even understand why Coinbase has this stablecoin. They should just back USDC only. Yeah, I don't know. USDT being delisted by European exchanges now ahead of the MiCA rollout. That is true. You're right about that. So USDC is making inroads. But I don't even know if PYUSD is compliant with MiCA. That's the thing. I don't know. Do you even say MiCA or MiCA? I just say MiCA. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. Looks like we got a little momentum back to 93. Cardano coming back to 70 cents. We're still well below that dollar mark. But this is where they need to go. 78 cents. That's a resistance they need to surpass. Link still far off from their previous high in January. H bar, same thing. Getting good push right here. Good time to short gold now that crypto and trade rumors are improving. There's no need to short gold. If you think gold is going to go down, just take the money out of gold and put it in crypto instead. There's no need to short gold. Any news on this Ukraine-Russian thing? Well, I just saw this. I mean, that's about it. I don't have anything else. I've been keeping up with the trade war stuff, not so much on Russia and Ukraine. Obviously, it hasn't affected the markets. U.S. market is still green. Home sales last month dropped to the lowest March pace since 2009. Well, that's no good. That's to be expected. People are not moving as much. What kind of self-custody wallet would you recommend? First of all, if you don't know of any, if you never used any kind of wallet outside exchange, just go download a new one first. Okay. If you're a Coinbase user, there is a Coinbase wallet that you could download absolutely free, and just get used to it. Same thing with Trust Wallet, and you can. These two are like app-based wallets, so you could download on your iPhone or your Android. But there's more than that now. You could download like the Phantom wallet or the MetaMask wallet or the Rabby wallet. Those are all more like browser-based wallets, but now they have mobile apps too. So you could use them app wallets. So you could use them on your phone as well. But these are all considered hot wallets, but you control the keys. They give you a recovery phrase, and you have to secure that yourself. But it gives you a taste so that you have your own address, you can send your crypto to it, and you could transfer in and out, so it gets you used to it. And you don't have to spend any money because it's all free. And then afterwards, once you're ready, you can get a self-custody wallet, a cold wallet, something from Ledger or Trezor, and then they have others that I haven't played around with. I hear good things about Tangem. I just never used it before. I had a thing with Exodus, so I've never afterwards. I know Exodus is probably better now, and they're a publicly traded company. They're huge, but very early on, I had a problem with Exodus, so that's why I'm biased against them. But I know they have changed since then, and you can plug your treasure into Exodus too. So you can, and same thing with MetaMask. You can use your cold wallet and trade utilizing cold wallet with the hot wallet too. So it makes it extra secure. But regardless, here's the thing. Most people get a false sense of security when they deal with a cold wallet. They think they have a hardware device and somehow that makes it all good. None of that matters. It doesn't matter if you have a cold wallet, hot wallet. It doesn't matter if it has a PIN code. It uses NFC card, like Arculus also uses that. And Tangem uses that too, like an NFC card. And it doesn't matter if it's biometrics or anything. It all comes down to that recovery phrase. If you lose it, your crypto is gone. It doesn't matter what hardware you have. That's the thing. The recovery phrase basically unlocks your private key. And if you put that somewhere, you write it down, and someone takes that piece of paper, or you put it into a cloud service, and someone hacks your cloud service and takes that, you're losing your crypto, because you can restore that crypto on any hardware, any wallet, regardless of what kind of authentication you have. So people have this false sense of security when it comes to these hardware wallets. The most important thing is your recovery phrase. So just keep that in mind. It's always the recovery phrase. It's not the device itself. It's a recovery phrase. Man, Sui just is not stopping. 309. They're just on an absolute tear. Things are coming back though. Sol 150 again. Things are coming back up. This war escalation is actually helping crypto come back up. Well, the entire market, NASDAQ is turning green too. Everything's turning green. What's Robinhood? Oh man, yeah. Robinhood's up 7%. Now my call options are going to come back to life. Am I still in turbo? No, I closed all my longs yesterday. Made a little money in turbo and closed it. I mean, it had to come down. It was just way too overbought. But you know, I was looking at a lot of memes, a lot of the hot memes from back in January. They're all down like 90%, and yesterday they recovered a little bit. So if the market gets hot again, I wouldn't doubt any of them get back to their previous high. There's a lot of money to be made. Some of them were at like 800 million, a billion, 2 billion, and now they're at like 150 million, 200 million. So a lot of X's there. So if we continue this recovery, I might be picking up some of these just to ride the wave, so to speak. So yeah. I don't like Brett though. I don't like Brett. I don't like anything on base. And I heard Brett is controversial anyways. Like the team holds 90% of the tokens or something. So yeah, I don't like Brett at all. I don't like any memes on base chain anyways. ETH is okay, but mainly just Sol. All right, guys. To conclude, today, still not bad. Holding quite well. A lot of macro stuff still at play. Now there's even war stuff to worry about. A lot of geopolitical macro stuff to worry about, but Bitcoin and crypto remain strong, still in recovery mode. And what's coming next is looking fantastic. So, stay strong, my friends. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care.